Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel and to a new episode of Moving Abroad Lesson 101 with your one and only Miss Mukoya. Thank you so much for clicking on the video, and thank you because I know you've subscribed. Have you? I'm giving you a serious side eye if you haven't subscribed yet. Anyway guys, we are on episode 3 of our series, which honestly I am so excited for myself as well as everyone that I'm able to help out there, be the smallest kind of help that I'm able to share. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. We will be talking about the visa process, how it was. I feel like it's one of the biggest things when it comes to moving, because first of all, the anxiety. Why don't you talk about the anxiety that comes with like applying for a visa and you're just seated in your house waiting for them to approve or reject? Guys, it's not funny. We have to talk about the documentations, because like, tell me why I just need to go study and you're asking me for like these loads of documents. Like, why do I need to bring you guys 6 months worth of statement of financial statement and like financial proof? We'll be talking about some mistakes that people commonly make and a few of the tips that I learned along the way, because I had a really good support system throughout the process and I was able to hear from different people, because I have a lot of like friends and family from, I guess, different countries, and they were able to slowly be in my ear about what I should and shouldn't do, and I'd like to share that with you guys. Let's get right onto it. First of all guys, why do you even need a visa to go to different countries? And me personally, I didn't know why I needed a visa. My passport is not that strong. Coming from like an East African country, I hold an East African visa, so my passport does not allow me to get to as many countries as I'd want to go to. So I knew that I needed a visa, and I've gotten a question on my TikTok asking me, do we need a visa for every country we go to? Actually no, it depends with the passport that you're holding. So some passports are stronger than other passports. If you have the European passport, definitely your passport is very strong. Some countries' passports are very strong, but for the East African one, it's not as strong. And although we have access to a couple of countries where you can enter visa free, you just have to show your passport upon arrival to the country or to the airport. There are some countries where you can't, like you can't, where are you going, you know? And it's actually most of like a majority by far of the countries that we do need a visa. I know it sounds or it looks like common knowledge, but honestly it's not. When you think about it, if you've never thought about traveling, it's never in your thoughts to think about, oh, by the way, when I want to go to a different country, what would they need from me? What type of visa do I need to get and stuff like that. The first step in the whole visa process of moving here, I had to do a lot of research, and as you probably know, there's a couple of types of visas. It's not just one type of visa. You have to like decide what exactly do you want when it comes to like choosing a visa. Am I going there to study? Am I going there for work? Am I going there for I don't know, as a dependent? Maybe you have a spouse or something, or you've just decided that you want to come as a visitor, because some people just travel to visit. Nothing specific, nothing special. Yeah, so once you figure out what exactly you want, then you move ahead with the process. You have to understand that different visa types come with different requirements. For study, I know study is one of the most expensive visas when you're looking for a visa to travel abroad, so you have to consider that. There is work visa. You have to consider if you're coming for work. First of all, coming for work abroad is not like a walk in the park. First of all, you have to have the job. You're not coming here to look for the job and then, you know, you're not getting a visa to come here to look for the job. No, you need to have the job before you leave your country. And in my case, it's Kenya. And you just can't get out of Kenya and say, okay, I'm going to move to Ireland and then I'm going to go there and look for a job. Nope. You find a job, the company agrees that it's going to give you sponsorship for your visa, and then now you begin the process of applying. And then we have the visitor visa. Now that's where you can just decide, okay, fine, I just want to go there and tour the country. And mostly these visas are going to be for approximately 6 months or less, depending on what the embassy feels like, you know. And then there's the dependent one, where maybe you're coming as a wife or a husband, and that also has its own advantages and disadvantages. For me personally, like I said, I was coming for a study visa, and that is what we'll mostly be talking about in this video. Of course, I'll be touching on different types of visas. So the first thing that I did when I decided that I wanted to come here with a study visa, I really needed to understand the rules that comes with that type of visa, because I do know that there's like different rules for different countries. Number one, for study visa here in Ireland, you're only allowed to work for 20 hours per week. You heard me right. You're only allowed to work for 20 hours per week. But I do understand that in the States, if you're going to the US as an international student, you're not even allowed to work unless you're working on campus, like the campus that you're studying in. You can only work there. But outside of that, it's actually illegal. You're not given a permit to do that. Yeah, so for Ireland, you're given 20 hours, and then on holiday, so that's December, I think the summer holidays as well, you're given up to 40 hours. Another thing that I wanted to check was, after I'm done with my school, what exactly do they expect me to do? And the thing about here is university is for 1 year if you're doing your master's course, and then they give you 2 years extra to like work or find a job and do something with your life before you decide whether or not you want to go back to your country, and whether a company now wants to sponsor your visa further. You get it? So that's one of the other things that I was looking at. All these things, they're available on the internet, guys. When you just go online and Google if it's the UK that you want to go to, if it's here in Ireland that you want to come to, if it's the US, Canada, Australia, whatever country that you're looking to go to, all the information is online. So number two, once I got a hang of what I really wanted, I wanted to know the requirements, because guys, let me tell you, the requirements for moving abroad, it's like sijui hata, because why am I required to bring so many things to just move, and I am still paying so much money, but yet you require me to bring so much? I don't get it. Requirements, there are the normal or common requirements that cut across most of the countries. The States, again, the UK and all of that. Some of them are like passports, which is like the most common one, guys. Why are you going without a passport? Can you be serious? Be serious with your life, okay? Yeah, so the passport is the most important document. You cannot move around the world without a passport. Where to where? That's like the form of identity. That's like what makes you, like if you're traveling around. We have financial proof. That's common. Every country needs you to show that you're able to sustain yourself in their country. Now, financial proof is common to all countries, but the amount that they want to see differs from country to country. I know Ireland, for Kenyans, it's 2.5 million. The UK, it's 4.5 million for study. That's the study visa. And then there's Australia. Australia is like, I don't know, they want 6.5 million currently. Kitambo, it was a bit cheaper. And that's why I keep telling you guys, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it now. You can't be waiting, because the more you wait, the more everything keeps changing. The laws keep changing. The amount of money that you need to have, they keep increasing, because the economy is not going lower. Okay guys, we've got medical is not common for every, but there will be a medical clause on your visa requirements, whether it's having insurance, whether it's going to get checked out, and all of that. Another common thing is the English test. For most countries, they might require you to have an English test. I know the countries that were on this side towards like the UK, they'll need you to have an English test. Something else that's kind of common is, of course, the intention of going back home after you're done with your stay, if it's studies or whatever. So they need to see that actually you plan on going back home. And I'll give you a very simple trick. That's the statement of purpose. Intention of going back home is the statement of purpose. So that's like saying why you want to come abroad, why exactly you chose this country, why you chose that school, that course, and then what's your plan after your schooling. Guys, you don't have to think about all these things. There are so many templates online on how you can write a statement of purpose for different countries. You can just go online and Google, just search it up, statement of purpose, and they're gonna shoot up a lot of them. You can also go on AI, because why are you struggling? Just ask ChatGPT and it's gonna create for you a whole thing, and then you just take it and edit it and make it sound personal to you. Something else that's very common for countries to ask you is the police clearance. In Kenya we call it good conduct. That's also something that they might ask you. Ireland embassy in Kenya did not ask me for a good conduct, but when I tell you you need your good conduct, I mean it. Find your good conduct, carry it. You will need it today, like you will need it because jobs need it. They want to see where you've been the 5 years prior of coming to their country. What were you doing? Were you a criminal in your own country? So carry your good conduct. That's something that they will definitely ask for. An acceptance letter. If you are coming for school, they'll need to see that the school has accepted you to their school, of course. They'll also need to see your proof of accommodation. Again, if you're coming for even work sponsorship, they'll need to see that you're coming here and you're coming here with accommodation. You're not coming here again to struggle and sleep on the streets, so they'll need to see proof of accommodation booked. So let me tell you guys something. When you're booking your accommodation, actually sometimes, not even sometimes, this is something that people don't talk about it and people don't say it, and I would say it like out there like that, but I'll tell you this. There's Airbnb where you can go check it out. There's so many hotel apps that you can check out before you decide you wanna move, but be smart, because if you're gonna pay for something before you come here, please be very, very smart. You have to show proof that you have accommodation, but you don't have to pay for the accommodation. So be very, very smart, okay? Depending on the country that you're going to, again, there are different like application processes for each country. For Ireland, the whole application is online. You're not meeting any, like, let me tell you guys something. For Ireland, there's no biometrics handy. Like, there's nowhere where you're meeting with those guys to be like, put a finger here, put another one, sign, do what. You do it online, and the thing that speaks for you is your documents. When I was taking my documents to the embassy, I remember I met this guy. I don't even know if he got his visa. I really hope that he did. He was Muslim. I was going to take my documents, and you know how there's a queue down there, so they call you one by one upstairs. So I was taking my documents. I took them there, and I saw him there, and he had a ton of documents. Let me tell you guys, people go with, like, I'm not joking, people's folders are this big, just to prove that they're okay and they're in good standing, like with other countries, they can go to your country. My documents were this much. Other people's documents were like this big, and I remember that guy, he was young. He's probably like younger than me actually. His documents were this big and my pile was this small. You can imagine. And then once we have both submitted our documents, we meet at the elevator and we're talking, and I'm like, oh my god, that's done. And I'm like, oh my god, there's no interview. And he's like, yeah, I actually like that because it's your documents that speak for you. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, sir, I know you took like 1,000 documents and me took this small amount of documents. So what are you saying? What do you think? But when I think about it right now, it's actually true. Your documents are the things that speak for you at the embassy, because they're not seeing you one-on-one. Actually, like with the Ireland visa, you're not even gonna meet the people that make the decision. The people that you meet when you're taking the documents, they are not even part of the decision process. They ask you a few questions, but it's questions that the questions are within your documents. So they'll ask you, what's your name? Of course, you know your name. They'll ask you, what school are you going to? Please get those things in your mind before you go to any embassy. It's very, very, like, it's a common mistake that people make. Get it on the fingertips, the things that they're actually going to do. So they'll ask you, what's your name? What school are you going to? What city are you going to? You know you're going to Siju what school, but you haven't even checked where your school is. You know, so those are some of the things that they'll catch you on. They'll ask you what school you're going to, what city is it in, have you paid your school fees? If you have, they'll ask you how much you've paid. Something else that you should also have in your fingertips, know how much you have paid, both in your currency and in the currency you paid in. If it's in euros, know that I paid 900 and CG 1,000, and that's about 6,750 euros there. like just have that information. Ireland embassy, the people that are there, they're not questioning you to trap you. They're questioning you to write it down on the top of your like apogee, like on the top of your documents. They just write it there. There's no interview, there's nothing. But I do know for the UK, you have biometrics where you go into a room, you do the fingerprints and everything, and then you look onto a camera and say your full name and your date of birth. For the US, oh my god, the bane of so many people's existence. I'm so sorry guys that you guys go through a lot when it comes to applying for a visa to go to the US. It's just one of those countries that doesn't want people in its country. Even now, you can see the state at which the country is in deportations and everything like that. But the US is so strict when it comes to their application, when it comes to their interviews. You go there and somebody is scrutinizing you from the moment you get to the door. Even like there's a whole YouTube, there are YouTube videos dedicated to telling you how you should dress for an interview with the embassy. You shouldn't be too official, you shouldn't be too casual. Like, it's just so crazy. And the US embassy, I feel, is almost, I don't know if I should call it this, but it's almost bipolar. You never just know what they're gonna say. You never know what they're gonna do. You never know what they're going to tell you. You could go there with so much experience. You could go there having traveled to their country before. You could go there having traveled to so many countries, and yet they still deny you a visa. My parents have been a victim of that. My parents have been traveling to the States for years on years on years, and then one random year they're like, they go for their visa, whatever, the interview, they go there, the guys at embassy, they're just like, nope. And they're smiling at you and they're like, unfortunately, this year we won't be giving you a visa. Hello? I've been going to your country, I've been contributing to your country's economy for all these years. What has changed this last year? You know? So yeah, I know the American embassy is like so like out, like them, their hair is just up, and they're always looking at the smallest things to catch you on. And although Ireland doesn't have questions, some of the questions that you might get asked when you're applying for a visa for the US, they are very simple but very confusing questions. You'll definitely be asked what's your name, where are you going, so you always have to have that information. But some of the trick questions, and one common one that I know that they ask is, if you're going there as a visitor, they will ask you, so you said you're going there as a visitor. In the case that in the 1 month that you're there, if a company approaches you to give you a job for the period that you're there, and it's a good company, it's a company that is in good relations with the government, and you're just going to be working for the 1 month that you'll be there, would you be willing to accept that job? And you, because the lady that's talking to you is actually smiling, because they'll be smiling at you, because the lady is just smiling there, you think, oh, it's just a normal, easygoing question. You just say yes, because it's just 1 month, I'll just take the job, and then once the 1 month is done, I'll be coming back to my country. Let me tell you, don't you dare. You're going there as a visitor. You're not going there to work. You're not going there to contribute to the economy in any way with your taxes, okay? You're just going there to visit. If anyone who's in authority, come to the airport, come to the embassy, come to the country itself, if your visa suggests a type of visa, that is what you should be doing in that country. No matter what question you're asked, I'm here for my studies, I'm not here to work. I'm here for visit, I'm not here to work. I'm not going to take any jobs. That's it. And you move along, skedaddle, because these people are there to trick you and catch you on the smallest things. Okay, guys? For Ireland, you just go online, you book your appointment for delivering your documents. Right now, if you're looking at doing anything, honestly, everything is available online. And I'll give you one small secret, which I know is not like a fun secret for some of the big agencies in Kenya. If you want to go abroad and you don't want to use an agent, this is what you could do. Go to an agency. Ask them, for this and these countries, what do I need to have to go to that country? So they'll tell you, they'll actually even give you a list. I'll show you mine. This is the list that I was given by my agency. They gave me this list of the things that they require from me for them to start the process. Once they give you that list, go home, do your research, sit down, and then start doing the application yourself, slowly by slowly, but give yourself time and grace. Okay, so that's a small secret that I'm giving you guys. For the girlies who like to DIY, or the men who like to do it themselves, you can definitely do it yourself. Once you fill out the form that they have online, they'll schedule you in for a date and day where you're gonna be going for your document submission. The embassy for Ireland in Kenya is at at a place called Delta Suites. Yes, second floor. The visa process and timing. Like I mentioned before, my period of like waiting and the taking documents, making sure documents are in order, it took me 6 months. I officially launched my process at the end of February, but I officially launched my visa application on the 4th of July. Can you see that time? So March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. Like it took me 5 months to get all the documents in order, guys. The visa, although the visa is like the most hectic one, there are small things that just line up along the process that actually make it very like tricky. So it's not just the visa process that's like crazy. The visa, it's actually like, it's the most minute, the most stressful, but the most minute. Okay, I launched my visa application on the 4th of July, and they came back to me with a response on the 19th of August. That's about 6 weeks, and that's the time that they had said they'll be responding. So they said 6 to 8 weeks for you to get a response from the embassy. Okay guys, and they're very true to that. If they take a little bit longer, just give them like a grace period of 2 weeks, and then you can actually make an inquiry and then they'll respond to you. Okay, once I got my visa approved, now there's a way forward where you book your flight for the date that you want to move to the country that you're moving to. If you get rejected, because they do happen sometimes, if you do get a rejection, you have a few options. You can always reapply. Let me tell you guys something. Getting a visa rejection does not mean that you can never go to that country again, or you can never go to any other country. It's one of the most common mistakes that people make. They think that once they've been rejected to one country, like that's it. Especially for the States. I feel like the States is one of those like toxic relationships, or like those egocentric men who just like their ego to be like. I feel like US is one of those countries where it's just like, no, we're not gonna give you a visa this year, and then you apply again next year. No, we're not gonna give you a visa this year, and then you apply again. No, and then the fourth time is the charm. So guys, your visa might be rejected, but it is not fully like that's closed off, you'll never travel. Nope. Even when you're applying for future visas in other countries, or even in that same countries, and there's always a clause where they ask you, have you ever been denied a visa before? Do not, and I repeat, do not lie. Do not lie to those people, because they'll be speaking to each other, the embassies know each other, and they'll know. Don't lie about getting a visa rejection. Give everything as it is. Okay, so if you get rejected, you can always reapply, or if you want, you can try a different country. You can also appeal. In case your visa is rejected, you can always appeal with the embassy, and like, in case there's anything that wasn't at par, if there's anything that they might need further clarification upon, you can always provide those documents. If you feel like the decision was unfair, you can always appeal. Sometimes that is where now you need like an agent to help you, but usually this process you can literally do it on your own if you don't like the stress of having to follow up with people, and if you're like a very disciplined person. I think I've mentioned everything that pertains to like the visa process and the documents and everything like that. I think I'll talk on some of the mistakes that people usually do when it comes to applying for a visa and their documents and the process itself. And the most common one is time. Guys, time is the most expensive currency when it comes to applying for a visa. You need enough time in between. Let me tell you guys, I started my visa application, my process of moving abroad, I started it at the end of February. I officially sent my agent my documents on the 4th of March, but we launched my visa application on the 4th of July. Like that time in between, I wasn't just sitting around and doing nothing. I had my IELTS because I had to book a test, and booking a test doesn't mean you're gonna get it today or tomorrow. You book and then it gives you like a date 2 weeks from now. That's the first red flag. You're already delayed by 2 weeks. Number 2, you book for your certificate of good conduct. If you're a Kenyan, you know certificate of good conduct takes 3 good months unless you know how to smoothen someone's hands. It takes you 3 months to get a certificate of good conduct. You're there waiting for the certificate. That's a whole 3 months, and then another 2 weeks of IELTS. You're doing everything here, and there. You have to apply to the school. The school has to respond to you. Once they respond to you, you have to pay school fees. Once you pay the school fees, they have to give you again an unconditional offer. Once they do that, you have to wait for, like, there are small things that actually add up. For example, in the UK, you're applying for your UK tuberculosis test. Again, they give you a date 1 month from now. Start the process in March, but even through that period, there's so much required from you, and there's so much time that, like, it just starts to cramp up in between, and before you realize it, it's actually like time is gone. You don't have time, and then again you have to give the embassy time for them to make a decision on your visa. So for example, the embassy has said it takes 6 to 8 weeks. You cannot be taking like a document to them in August and your school starts in September. That's not enough time. And sometimes you'll get a denial because of that, because they can see that even by the time they make a decision, school will be so far gone. Sometimes you'll get approved because they know that you can take on the next semester, but there's also a timeline as to when you should be in the country once you get a visa. Once you get a visa, sometimes they say within this month you should be in the country, like you've landed in the country that you're going to. So guys, time is so important when it comes to applying for a visa. Don't start 2 months in advance. Don't start 3 months. Start as early as you can, even if it takes 1 year. 1 year just goes by like this. So start as early as you can, like take as much time as you can, but be prepared to meet hurdles and small things here and there. Number 2, the most common mistake that people make is lying. And not just lying, there's some small lies here and there that people usually do, but there's white lies, ile yenye tu honestly the embassy can see. Like you just made such an open lie that honestly, hata mimi, even if I'm not working at the embassy, I can just see that this is a lie. Number 1 lie, like I said again, do not lie about being rejected a visa to a different country. If you've worked with an agent, and a good agent who's been in the game for a long time, they'll tell you, give them the truth. Tell them the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Let them decide with the truth. Let me tell you guys, the financial statement will mess you up badly. You take to them fake documents that are not yours or they're not real, and then the country sees it, the embassy sees it, and they analyze it. They call banks because they will do their due diligence. I'm not joking, it's not child's play. Like, they will do their due diligence. You take fake documents, you take a fake statement, you've bought a statement and you're taking it to them. They notice that, they highlight that, they put you down on blacklist for giving them wrong papers. Not even wrong, but giving them a statement that is actually not yours, and a statement that does not even work. And they say you can go to their country. Fine. You think you're okay, you can go to other countries. You've got to think about the future. Think ahead. Think about ways that you can protect yourself even in the future. Okay? Please don't make small mistakes. Don't lie. If it's something that won't affect you, being rejected in another country, it won't affect you. If the rejection was honest and clear that maybe at that time you didn't have enough funds, it's okay. You can always have something different. Like, you can always try out a different country. Number 3, incomplete documents. This one, if they tell you that we didn't see this and this and this and this, it's very easy. You can always appeal and give them that document, or you can always reapply and ensure that those documents are in there. Incomplete documents sometimes come up because of time, because you don't have enough time and time has really moved along. Then you just put out together things and you're just rushing to make sure you have everything. Take time and give them all the documents that they need. Number 4 is not having enough financial proof, or like the proof of funds is like very confusing. You get it. Like, I do know that even if it's not like your nuclear family or yourself that's funding yourself, I do understand that the embassy is gonna give you a visa, but please make it as clear as possible for them. They're not here to try and understand how your family works. They're just there to finish their work and like give you a visa if they need to, and then move on. Make it as easy as it is for them. Give them a family tree. If it's your aunt, say how you're related to your aunt. Provide your aunt's birth certificate. If your aunt's name has changed, because I do know if maybe your aunt got married, maybe their name changed to their husband's name, provide an affidavit saying that actually this is your aunt and this changed and whatever. Like, everything should align. The proof of funds should also be very like, nekana to like, this is money. If you took a loan, be clear, share that you took a loan, take the documents from everywhere where you took loans from, put them together. They need to see. And it's not a sin to take a loan to come, and I don't know, if you're going to do whatever, people take loans, they accept the embassy will not reject your visa because you took a loan, as long as the loan is sustainable. So those are some of the common mistakes that people usually make, and some of the tips that I've learned along the way. So number one, please guys, take as much time as you need for your visa process. Start now. This is the time. There's no other time. The more time you take, the more things keep changing. You see, like Australia, for example, Australia for Kenyans was always their like destination. It was so easy to get into Australia. Like, that's why there's so many Kenyans in Australia. But right now, because of the changes and the laws and the rules, you can't get into Australia right now. The people that are getting rejections are more than the people who are getting approvals. So start now. The earlier the better. And although it looks like a very, like heart-wrenching and like a very like scary process, trust me, you're gonna be okay, as long as you have everything in order, as long as you put God first, okay? Because you need God. In all this, you need God. I'm not even joking. You need God. Because sometimes you can't even, you just need peace of mind, and sometimes the peace comes with God. Okay? Pray about it, think about it, talk to people about it, and then you can officially start your process. You got this, and I know your visa is gonna get approved this year in Jesus' name. Amen. Whatever country you wanna go to, this is the year for you. Try your luck. You never know. If you're doing study visa, this is the time to start. September is not very far off. Start right now. By the time it gets to August, everything is in order and you're moving. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I definitely will see you in my next video, where actually we'll be getting personal, okay? Yeah, I'll see you in my next video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to subscribe. Bye guys.